Welcome in, everyone, to the TDA Post Game Show. I'm your host, Justin Riley. With me, as always, is a legendary wide receiver and the most sought-after strength coach in America. Oh, and he won a national championship. Mike McCoy, what's going on, brother?
What's going on, my man? What is going on?
Hey, I'm just enjoying a route, man, and things looked a lot better this week, if I do say so myself. So I'm pretty excited to see, what your thoughts are. So let's
Man,
roll. Let
oh,
some folks get in here. And well, first of all, I'm going to start out. You and I both had some questions going in. For you, you told me a few days ago you wanted to know what the corners looked like. You wanted to know who played fast, who played slow. What would we come out doing offensively? So I'm going to let you go ahead and hit your questions first. With question one, what did those corners look like to you tonight?
overall, man, I was very excited. By the way, I am extremely tired, people. I had a long day, long night, so I love y'all. The fact that I'm still up. But man, the corners played amazing today. Definitely excited about that. Offensive side, man, I guess they heard me because I had said, I guess it kind of went viral for a hot little second. Said it was like watching cold paint dry, and I said, I guess while Bob heard me over there. So they spread the ball out, bro. They had a complete game today. Today was a complete day for me.
Yeah, night and day. And I guess he may have heard you. I know the folks at the AL.com heard you based on the conversation that you and I had. And, it's funny is I was watching that clip. Your co-host there wanted you to be real, but I don't think that she was ready for real. And I saw you fighting back, what to say. And I could tell, that the real Mike is saying something completely different from what's about to come out. But I have to give you props because you were able to hold your tongue, but you were effective enough to where you got the point across. And, some folks got their feelings hurt, but you know what? You can't be soft to everybody, man. You got to tell them what's real.
Nobody's above criticism. I get criticized every day, probably by my job. But at the end of the day, man, this is not God we're talking about. This is a man. This is a man sport. These people put Alabama in heaven, and God is co-saving. So, but yeah.
I get on in that argument on the regular. If I criticize anyone, the coaching staff, and God forbid I criticize the man who created the Alabama universe, all of a sudden I'm an outcast. I should be stripped of all my credentials. My diploma should be revoked. And you and I talked a little bit about that, man. I think it's absolutely absurd. For one, you as a player and the guys who were on my show as players who have been in the thick of it, you've been in the trenches, the ins and outs. I think, above anyone, you have the right to speak your mind because you know what's there. And then two, those of us as fans, as alumni, we pay these guys salary. So the way I see it is both your group and my group have a viable reason to be able to comment as we please.
When you said that, it's almost like stock. If them stocks ain't going, somebody got some explaining to do, Jack. So I need a return on my money. But man, it was a complete turnaround, man. I really Kool-Aid played well. I was glad to see the Eli kid. We had a couple of offsides errors, small things, and I really don't have any complaint. It was a all-around complete game for me, man. So I really don't. I'm at a standstill right now. The way they played tonight, them in Georgia, I think Bama's they've edged them tonight, man.
Yeah, it's completely different. Georgia for the past 3 weeks has been on a roll. They look like they are invincible, and that they were going to have the easy route, which of course they do have an easy route. Let's be honest with with everyone right now. They have probably the easiest path to the SEC championship, if not the college football playoff, than anybody right now. So, But today they looked a little human. They looked like a team that was due a bad game, and for Georgia, yeah, they didn't look so hot today, but they ended up pulling away later on. But no one is above anyone right now. I think it's an even playing field. But for us today, I feel like we got a little bit better. I feel like we did some things that we had to do. For me, I had some questions myself going in, and I'll go ahead and touch on those. Number one for me was, did Alabama establish an identity? Are we set in the position groups? For the past 4 games, we've been playing musical chairs, trying to figure out what the offensive line is going to look like, what the secondary is going to look like. And even the wide receivers, we just didn't know. We're swapping people in and out until we found something that stuck. And then, did we eliminate the penalties / mental errors? Well, question 3 for me was beginning to be a problem in the first part of the game because we were getting those penalties early on. And number 4, would the wide receivers have a coming out party? Would they look better as far as communication with Bryce Young? Would that connection finally be established? Because last year, one thing I noticed, Bryce was able to anticipate where the routes were going to be. And he was comfortable with those guys like John Mechie, Jamison Williams. But going into this game, he hadn't been able to do that. He hadn't felt that comfortable with his receiving group. And the frustration was evident. I could tell it was weighing on him, even though people say he's really cool, really calm, and really relaxed. Yeah, he's going to project that. But I could tell that he was a little frustrated because he's at level 10 right now. And the receivers, for a lack of a better way to put it, are kind of at a level 6 or a 7. So he's waiting on them to play catch up. And question 5, would we get better play calling from Bill O'Brien? So with my questions, Mike, what stuck out to you the most that we definitely improved on?
Just from the receiver standpoint, I think we showed everybody was trying to make somebody an immediate star, and with a new team, new chemistry, it does take it. I still don't think we have an established receiver now. They all ate tonight. They all spread the ball out. They all caught the ball well. I think it's about 3 or 4 more games still to solidify who our guys are. Because Buddy came out of nowhere tonight, man. Sheesh. I mean, just routes smooth. I mean,
I have to agree. And of course, that started with Bryce Young. I don't think anybody in college football had a better first half than Bryce Young. He played out of his mind. 16 yards at half. Who does that? And like you said, man, he was spreading the ball around to everyone. I believe the count was up to 8 different wide receivers. That ball placement, I don't think there's anybody in college football right now has better ball placement than Bryce Young. And what really allowed him to get to that next level in that Bryce mode, we did something we haven't done this entire season. We switched to tempo. Well, yeah, we blocked, but we were switching to tempo, and he's a lot more comfortable playing up tempo. And as soon as we did that, it's like someone pressed that turbo button, and boom, boom, boom. He was a man possessed.
And I didn't know. I ain't gonna even lie to you. That boy Gibbs, he's a human joystick. That was his come out party. Like, I'm here. Like, I am here. So I mean, I didn't know he was that electric. You hear about it, but to see it live and the way he did that spin move at the 5-yard line, I'm talking about, like, bro, that looked like a choreographed move, bro. Like, that was too natural for that but he's unreal. Put him at punt returner. Put him back there. Put him back there, man. That's who I want to see back there, man. He's my new favorite player, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. I didn't know he was like that. So I see why a couple fans were like, man, he needs at least 20 carries a game, bro. You gotta get him some touch. They do. I'm advocating for Gibbs. He's like that.
Listen, we have heard all the buildup going into the season about how electric the Jahmyr Gibbs is. That he's a human joystick. He's a cheat code. And we really haven't seen that. And I don't know if it was because he wasn't quite comfortable yet or Bill O'Brien hasn't utilized his skill set. I'm kind of leaning more towards that. But one thing that stuck out to me, and he had problems with this earlier, was he picked up every single block. Not only did he pick it up, he picked it up hard. He had some issues early on. He missed some key blocks, caused some problems, but that's no longer a problem at all. But yeah, like you said, the man absolutely wowed us. I mean, words can't describe. And I'm going to give praise to Bill O'Brien. Yes, folks, I said that. I'm going to give praise to Bill O'Brien. For a while, he used Jahmyr Gibbs as a decoy and was allowing Jason McClellan to kind of get himself established. And then all of a sudden, he switched it up on us, transitioned Jahmyr to the featured back. And then you saw what you saw on that screen. And it's the Jahmyr Gibbs we've been waiting on.
I guess, like I said, they must have heard me talking about some double moves. I mean, we spread the field today, man. The boys look good, man. Like I said, I don't have any complaints right now, and I don't think a lot of these teams are not who we thought they were, because I thought A&M coming into this thing was going to be some contenders, man. But I know Bama always gets their best. I'm not going to put the cart before the horse, but I don't too much have a concern right now, because today, I mean, they played flawless. I mean, bro, Dale got in the backfield, got a sack today. You know what I'm
That's when you
saying?
know that's when you know things are going right, when DJ Dale erupts like that and makes a significant play.
Yes.
So, I mean, it's about time. And man, that defensive line, God, suffocating the entire night. They didn't let anything go forward. Was there any positive game tonight?
Everything I heard, I'm gonna say this, man. I heard this. So one of the coaches down at Bama told me. He said, "Man, I'm gonna tell y'all." He told me this before, about 2 years ago, before Will Anderson was Will Anderson. He said he's gonna be the best Alabama defensive player to ever come through here. I was like, man, shut up, man, get out of here, man. You already know who we done had through here, and you gonna make some. Hey, man, that coach was not lying. Josh Chapman was not lying. I'm gonna tell you, Josh Chapman told me he was gonna be the best, the D player to ever come through there. And I mean, bro, it shows. He's different, dog. But it's different.
Listen, Mr. Anderson did his thing again tonight. He said, not
number
only
one.
did he say no, he said hell no. And he just completely took over, and everybody fed off of that. That defense was on fire, playing to the level that we expected. One thing that I'm concerned about right now is how is Byron Young's health? He was carted off the field and taken to the locker room. Stephen M. Smith is going to join us a little bit later after Coach Saban's press conference, and hopefully he can fill us in as to what his status is. But we got one caller already on the line. I'll remind everybody when you call to state your name, where you're calling from, tell us what you want to talk about, and then hang up and listen, because unfortunately you won't be able to hear Mike give his reply. So if you would, like I said, drop your thoughts, give us a roll tide, hang up and listen, and allow Mike and myself to be able to give our thoughts on what you're talking about. But before I pick up that line, I want to give the stats. Of course, Alabama, we won 55-3. Bryce Young was 25 of 36 for 385 yards, and basically I won't even say and a half quarters, 25, 36, 385, 4 touchdowns.
Mamba mentality, Jack. Mamba mentality.
Jason McClellan led all rushers with 11 carries for 78 yards, 1 touchdown. And I definitely want to talk about him later. This dude is a grown man. He runs like a grown man. I love his running style. Jamarion Miller, the freshman, boy, got on the board for 2 touchdowns tonight, capped the night off with that 40-yard touchdown. What a way for the freshman to show up. Of course, you saw what Jahmyr Gibbs did receiving. And we're going to talk about this wide receiver group. I think we found our wide receiver one. I want to hear your thoughts on that. I feel like it's been building up the past couple of weeks. There's been some kind of connection, a level of comfortability set between Bryce Young and Jacory Brooks. Jacory Brooks has been getting the separation, and if he hadn't gotten separation, he's a man who's going to fight for the ball. He's a blue collar guy, but tonight he definitely got that separation. He has 6 receptions for 117 yards and 2 touchdowns. The man balled out. And Jermaine Burton, welcome to the party.
Welcome.
He finally showed up, 4 receptions for 94 yards. But we're going to talk about this receiver group in just a little bit. So let's go ahead and jump on some calls. I'm curious to hear what everybody says. I doubt that we're hearing anything negative tonight, but you never know. Welcome into the TDA Post Game Show. You're on live with Justin Riley and Mike McCoy. If you would, state your name and where you're calling from. Let us know what you think, and let's get it going.
Man, my name is Garrison Underwood. I'm calling from Mesa, Arizona. And I wanted to talk about Alabama tonight, and they played a very good game tonight. And I know they was receiving a lot of criticism after the Texas game. But one thing that we got to understand about college football is when they playing against big schools like that, it's competitive. I don't expect Alabama to just blow everybody out. Everybody is going to get up to play against Alabama because they've been so good for so long. And now we starting to see everything come together. We starting to see Bryce Young get chemistry with the new receiver core, and we starting to see the defense play better, the corners play better. So I just think, with the new transfer rule and everything that's going on, sometimes these guys need a little bit of time to gel. But everybody's going to get up for Alabama, and they're a great team. People just got to be patient. I expect Texas at home with 105,000 fans to play well. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah, I couldn't agree more. Thank you so much for the call. Yeah, Mike, let me hear your thoughts on that. A lot of criticism has been going the way of Bill O'Brien and the wide receivers, and I get it does take time to establish that chemistry. And one thing that came to mind is, we have a lot of guys from the transfer portal, guys who don't quite understand the culture, who haven't played together. Yes, they have experience playing, but they don't have experience playing in that Bama culture. Do you feel like that kind of holds them back from really achieving their potential, especially early on?
Yes and no. No, because you get into a point where, man, we paying these players now. They are essentially pros now. So do your job. It ain't nothing like that. And then years ago, when I played, bro, you're one play away from, or you're one injury away from a new quarterback. So you can't say, well, the chemistry, the chemistry's not. I agree. The chemistry has to be there, but to pitch and catch, my job as a receiver is to be there. Your job as quarterback to give me the ball. Pitch and catch. It ain't rocket science.
Thank you for calling Collins Studios host and.
Gotcha. Sorry about that. We had a little bit of technical difficulty there. But yeah, you're right, man. These guys are paid to play. You're expected to come on the scene immediately. And, I get that there's a culture shock because there are a lot of guys coming from schools who aren't used to the way we do things. But if you're going to sign up to be a part of the process, then you got to be ready for all that entails.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's see. All right, let's go ahead and talk about that wide receiver group while I try to get this thing back online. It appears that we've dropped the callers. I'm not sure how it happened, but hey, technology is great when it works. But I'm curious to hear your thoughts. I spoke a little bit about Jacory Brooks. What were your thoughts on him in this game and really kind of leading up to this game?
Jacory Brooks, I heard a lot of great things about him. Tonight, was definitely his come out party. But man, honestly, I still think all 4 of those receivers have the capability of being the number 1 receiver. And I think with this day and time and this type of offense, and you have defensive analysts that can tell you a percentage of who he's gonna probably be dominant throwing to. I mean, it can be any given night for whoever.
Absolutely. But listen, he stepped up to the plate, and I'm really excited to see what he's doing. I think that he's going to be the wide receiver one. But Jermaine Burton finally established himself. I'm not sure what it has taken for him to kind of finally emerge. But do you feel confident with him going forward?
I do. And the reason being, man, I think these guys, they were able to get their confidence tonight. Their confidence was, like I know with anything, you got to have confidence. And they just kind of established themselves under the big city lights night, man. It was a home game, had a good crowd. So, it's like hitting that first hit, So I think they got the jitters off now. We know what we can do. So I'm excited for them.
Yeah, I am too. And I know everybody else kind of took a sigh of relief, as it were, when we finally started to open things up. Of course, don't let me shortchange Holden. I feel like he did a great job tonight. He didn't get as many catches as the other two we just mentioned did, but he was still very effective. Still made people miss. Your boy, Kobe Prentice, looked really good. The younger guys kind of got their touches. Isaiah Bond missed a couple, but I think he still kind of got the nerves. But we're going to see something more. And, hey, we needed a big game as far as confidence going into Arkansas. Next week is going to be a very tough game. We're going to be in a crazy environment.
That's a tough place to win, man.
No kidding. But they're also going to be coming in or hosting us being a little pissed off, because I don't know if you saw the score. They just went down to Texas A&M, and it was by a fluke way too. So
I saw it, man. I'm a fan. I like Sam Pittman, man. I like the program over there. Yeah.
But folks, we got to welcome in the great Stephen M. Smith. He is on location. He was able to be in the trenches and able to see things that we didn't normally see. Stephen M. Smith, welcome into the post game show. We're excited to have you on and anxious to hear your thoughts.
Absolutely, guys. Well, I'm on the injury list too. Banged my right foot. So I am on the injury list as well. But getting to the actual Alabama football injury list, Cam Latu is okay. He had a stinger there. Was able to come back and finish the game. Of course, we saw that Jordan Battle has a hamstring. He'll be okay. The one concern is Byron Young. He left the game in crutches. And when you leave the game in crutches, and he had to be carted into the locker room, he left in crutches. So we're getting the information on him from Coach Saban. But whenever you're carted off the field and you leave in crutches, normally that is not good, especially for a young man. This is the senior year. He had aspirations of being a high-round draft pick for 2023. I know Jim Nagy had him on the Senior Bowl, watching this. So big prayers to Byron Young. You hate that happened to him.
Absolutely, man. I've been one of the biggest supporters of Byron Young. Definitely has established the Byron Young.
Okay, so we do just to have the update on Byron Young. It is a sprained ankle.
Oh, good. Is it a low sprain or a high sprain? That's going to be a difference.
Sprained ankle, so not as bad as what it led on. So sprained ankle, whether it's high or whether it's a mid ankle sprain, we'll have to see that on Monday. But at least the good news is it's nothing terrible. It's a sprained ankle.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know you couldn't hear Mike, but that was his question: was a high or low ankle sprain? And good news there. You hated that he went down, but as far as the rest of the year, he's going to be able to come back in a very short amount of time, and all those goals you just mentioned are going to be intact. He's off to an amazing start. Last year he was that guy who was coming along and who was really playing, under Fedarian Mathis and kind of fed off of Big Phil. And if Big Phil did well, that got Byron Young going. Now Byron is that guy. He's initiating everything, and players are feeding off of him. And he's a guy that I think is on a path to maybe a first-round draft pick. So great news that we'll have him back. There's nothing that too serious. But staying on that defensive line, man, what did you see tonight? Of course, total devastation. DJ Dale had a big play. Justin Avoiby, again, 4th week in a row. He's got that give a damn button turned way on, whereas last season, like I've said before, didn't have it.
Yeah.
We just talk about the defensive line and how they continue to establish themselves as the driving force.
I mean, they played comfortable tonight. I think they
almost Justin, Avoiby found himself. It's taken him a long time, but Avoiby's found himself. Avoiby's found his game. He's got big hands. He's a pass rusher. He's a disruptor. He can stop the run, but he's found his game, and that's what we've been waiting for him on. I thought DJ Dale had a good sack in there. I thought Jaheim Otis continuing to grow, continuing to get better in his craft. Tim Keenan III had some pretty good plays out there. So I thought the depth, the growth, everybody is finding who they are. We all knew this team was this front was talented. We all knew this front had some guys, but tonight they have started to find out, okay, this is who I am. This is my skill set. Let me play to it.
And one of those guys who played very well and has endured a lot of harsh criticism, especially from Marvin Constant and a lot of us, it was Henry To'oTo'o. He was very good tonight.
Step up. I mean, step up. He had a game. And he had a couple of moments where he made those ooh-wee type of hits. Now, remember, Freddie Millen's mentioned on the Bama Standard, guys, it's coming. And tonight, it came. He sat there and drove a guy back for a loss of yards. He stuck his nose in on a couple of plays. This is the type of ball we've been waiting to see, and he brought it.
Oh, without a doubt, man. He knew exactly what was going to happen before it happened. He read everything very well, shot the gaps. He did very well in coverage, recognized routes, and took those players out before anything could happen. I was really impressed. Not sure if the Bama Nation is quite sold just yet, but it's an incredible stepping stone, and hopefully that will establish a pattern for him. But overall, great play. And I think that was another thing that fueled this defense.
I mean, I thought to me, guys, this was, and Saban mentioned it, this was the first step in that standard being established, playing to that standard. You saw the offense rack up over 600 yards. You saw the defense give up, 130 yards, giving up just 3 points. And, Georgia took on Kent State today, and they gave up 22 points. So this was the beginning kind of in conference play of establishing that standard that this team wants to play to.
And one of the questions I had going in, and I think a lot of us did we solidify ourselves in position groups, namely the offensive line? Based on what you saw tonight, do we have that solid starting lineup that going forward we're going to stay with and who's going to be very successful?
I think so. And I think if I'm Saban, this is my starting five going out from left to right. I would have Steen, Steen, Cohan, Dalcourt, Tyler Booker, and J.C. Latham. Tyler Booker is showing you he's that dude. He is showing you he's that dude. He's mean. He's nasty. He's physical. He's aggressive up front. Everybody's been kind of talking about him, and for obvious reasons. And tonight we saw a little bit more of why people talk about him as such. So from left to right, moving forward, I would look at Steen, Cohan, Dalcourt, Booker, and J.C. Latham.
So I just want to ask specifically, you think that Dalcourt is that guy and not Seth McLaughlin? Because Seth McLaughlin's been a guy that I've been very high on, especially after what he did last year.
I would still prefer McLaughlin over Dalcourt, but the issue I had with Dalcourt was his snapping. He's finally started to get that down a bit more. We all know if Seth McLaughlin was 20 pounds heavier, he would be the starting center. No question about that. But with Dalcourt improving the snaps and getting better in his own right, I think Dalcourt for now, but McLaughlin is right there ready to take it if Dalcourt were to slip.
Fair enough. Moving to another position group, Mike and I have talked about it a little bit. That's the secondary. Now it's one of the things that he was looking at going into this game. Do you feel confident in the corners we have going forward? Terrion Arnold, I don't think there's a question there. The man's a baller, and that one play he had in the first half, I'm gonna be honest with you, that wide receiver pushed off, but they didn't call it. But other than that, he was solid. I think Kool-Aid got better, and we saw a little bit of Eli Ricks. How do you feel about the secondary?
The secondary at this point, Justin, it kind of is what it is. You're going to have to go with Kool-Aid and Terrion Arnold. I mean, if Eli Ricks is that guy, there is something he's just not showing Coach Saban because he's still being relegated to the second team. I don't know what it is. We don't know what it is, but something he's doing has not gotten the attention of Coach Saban to put him with the first team. So right now, we're going to have to roll with Arnold and Kool-Aid McKinstry.
Understandable. And then let's talk about a position group that balled out. We've been waiting on it. We've been talking about it. And that's this wide receiver group, and led by Jacory Brooks. It was the Jacory Brooks show. This is a guy that going into this year that John Mechie said is going to be that dude. And he made a strong case for that tonight. So how did you feel about Jacory Brooks? And then, hey, Jermaine Burton stepped up. Tell us your thoughts on the wide receiver.
You got
group.
it. Justin, you got to get Jacory Brooks the football. I mean, this man is one of the best, not only pass catchers, but routes. I saw Jacory run some of the best routes tonight. Broke them off clean, worked back to Bryce Young, flashed the hands, made catches. He became Alabama's first 100-yard receiver this season. And people forget, Jacory didn't practice in the spring because he was hurt. So he missed all that spring due to an injury. And then, in the fall, people kind of forgot about Brooks because of all these other receivers in here, and he wasn't getting worked out on the field the way he should have. Tonight, he got on the field more, and you see why he was such a baller last year late in the season with the touchdown catch against Auburn in the Iron Bowl, touchdown catch versus Cincinnati in the Cotton Bowl. The man is built for big moments. He spent a lot of time with Jamison Williams and John Mechie, as you mentioned last season. They taught Brooks a lot. And tonight, 6 catches, 117 yards, 2 touchdowns, a big night for him. But other guys got involved. Jermaine Burton, 4 catches for 94 yards. Trey Holden got involved in there. Kobe Prentice got involved in there. I thought tonight the receivers, they worked back to Bryce Young, and there was a connection there. There was a connection there, not from just 1 to 2 guys, but everybody got into the flow. And that's what Bryce Young's been wanting to see, and what Nick Saban's been wanting to see is everybody in the flow. Everybody was in the flow tonight.
Oh, absolutely. And one thing that we did notice regarding the receiver group is that Tyler Harrell and JoJo Earl were both dressed out and participated in warm-ups. Didn't think they played
Aaron
tonight.
Anderson, too.
Yeah, Aaron Anderson. I didn't think they played tonight. I thought it was just something to kind of get them back into the rhythm of things and just get them on that field. And if they are to go next week, how lethal does it make this group?
If those three are to go next week, Justin, it's crazy because then you get JoJo Earl back for his first game against Arkansas. You work Tyler Harrell in here, the guy that can really take the top off defenses, him playing his first game. Evan Aaron Anderson, the speed he brought over from high school out of Louisiana. If you get all 3 of those guys, not even all 3, if you could just get 2 of those 3, whether it's Earl and Harrell, whether it's Harrell and Anderson, if you could just get 2 of those 3 back, it's nuts. But if you can get all 3 back, you could just write the story on this.
All right, I'm right there with you. But one thing that I was really excited to see, and I'm sure Mike was too, is the reintroduction of tempo back to the offense. I think that it was the ignition switch that Bryce Young needed to be Bryce Young and to go into that Bryce mode, because as soon as it was introduced, boom, things started happening.
Oh, absolutely. And one thing that I was happy about, guys, was if you look at this, Bama ran the ball better tonight. Chase McClellan is on a mission. Number 2 is on a mission. People talked about Gibbs all off season. and for good reasons. But McClellan ran with a fire tonight. I haven't seen. I mean, 78 yards rushing, 11 carries. He was breaking tackles tonight. Roydell Williams has a few really good series in there. And then Jamarion Miller. Keep your eye on that man. That young man's going to be a special player here. That guy's a freshman. He's got the pinball ability of Josh Jacobs, and he's got speed. So Jamarion Miller is somebody from Tyler Legacy High School down there in Texas. That kid can play.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. Now, I know that Bama fans are really excited, but if you were pressed to give some takeaways right now, based on what you've already seen tonight, what are some of those? And, what do we need to know going forward? Stephen, are you still with us?
Oh, I'm still with us. Okay, so I thought that was for Mike. I know that was for me. But
no, that's for you. Unfortunately, you won't be able to hear Mike. You're only able to hear my voice. So, yeah, when people call in, we encourage them to, if they have a question for Mike, just to, drop what they think and then get off and listen. But, yeah, go ahead, Stephen. I'm curious to hear what your immediate takeaways are and what you're looking for going into Arkansas.
I think my immediate takeaways were we stacked on another good performance. It was good against ULM, but we stacked another good one here against Vanderbilt. I felt like we got some things solidified on the offensive line, as I've named that out. I thought the receivers broke out in a big way, working back to Bryce Young. We ran the ball better. McClellan looked good. Jamarion Miller looked good. Gibbs found a way to be involved. And here's the big thing. I thought defensively that pass rush, we affect quarterback, whether it was Will Anderson, Henry To'o, several guys got into A.J. Swan's face there, and we were able to establish an element of physical Alabama football. Saban talked about it. Tonight it looked like we had established an element. What I want to see against Arkansas, can we take this on the road? Because you mentioned, Arkansas lost to A&M on a fluke play at the end there. So Sam Pittman and those guys are going to be ticked off. They're going to be ready to play. Can we take this on the road, match Arkansas's intensity, and win this game in Fayetteville on next week?
I completely agree. That's my immediate thoughts on that game going in. It's a tough place to play, and they're going to be ready. And there's nothing like a bunch of pissed off hogs. So get ready for a brawl. The gauntlet begins now. Little room for error. And that's why I feel like we needed to really establish ourselves in this game, because we all know it doesn't get any easier, because Arkansas, then we play A&M. We got Tennessee, who was able to escape today, but they pretty much dominated. Florida made a comeback a little too late. But Stephen M., we greatly appreciate you joining in with us tonight and giving us your thoughts, especially the bird's eye view. And we definitely appreciate the update on Byron Young. I think a lot of people they're relieved, to say the least.
Oh yeah, I mean, I was relieved because when he went down, Justin grabbing his ankle, I was like, oh dear no. And then the cart came out, and I was like, really? Oh dear no. But thankfully, it's just an ankle sprain there, so he'll be looked at as day to day, and depending on how he
like
feels
LeBron or something.
Back, whether it's Arkansas, whether it's A&M, but it's not anything as bad as we initially thought. I was happy that Cameron Latu was okay, because he got seriously helped by the training staff to the medical team, but he was able to be fine and pop his helmet back on and get back out there. Jordan battled a hamstring. He's okay. So just very thankful that, critical guys like that, nothing major.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more, man. Well, thank you again. We're going to get to some of these other callers who are waiting on the queue, brother. But we will look forward to what you got to say on Monday on In My Own Words. But until then, roll tide, brother.
Roll tide.
Appreciate you guys, man.
Yes, sir. Yeah, one thing I got to agree with, this wide receiver group had to really establish themselves. Next week, it's pretty well known. Arkansas is arguably one of the worst in terms of pass defense in the SEC, if not the country. But we're going to have to get off those DBs. You know, we had a little bit of problem with ULM last week, but I would venture to say Vanderbilt's a much better quality opponent than ULM.
Yes.
But we need that confidence going in, regardless of what the stats say about Arkansas's DBs.
Fun fact. Arkansas used to have some, I'm talking when Houston up was there. Oh my God. Them DBs. Man, look, we used to be
Yes.
hey, I ain't gonna even lie to you. Them boys was like that. But next week it is gonna be exciting. I think it'll be another come out party. I think another receiver will emerge. I would not be surprised. I know everybody ain't banking on Burton, but I ain't gonna be surprised that he may step up and be to end up being that number one receiver, man. I'm telling you.
What do you see?
I just feel like once that confidence there, man, it's like I'm feeling it a little bit, but I ain't really sure. But I'm telling you, man, he's a crafty guy, man, and I don't think he got to Bama by coincidence. And I think he got a point to prove, man. So I think he has a chip on his shoulder. It's gonna come. Give him about 2 more games, and we're gonna be talking about like, Mike, you was right, bro. He like that.
Okay, hey, that's what I want to see. That's what we all been hearing the entire off season. So
yeah,
to be determined. Let's go ahead and take another caller. I want to remind our callers that you only will be able to hear me on the phone. So in order to hear what Mike has to say to your question or your statement, please say it and then jump off the call and tune back into us and listen to what he has to say. But we're going to take our next caller here. Welcome to the show. You're on live with Mike McCoy and Justin Riley. Roll Tide. State your name, where you're calling from.
It's Robert from Mobile.
What's up, Robert?
Hey, Randy, that was a great all-around effort today. I mean, it's the first game that I'm sure Alabama fans will believe is a complete game, where we, dominated from beginning to end, and the passes downfield were stark improvement. Bryce, hitting people in stride. They held on to the ball. It was great to see Campbell too. He wasn't seriously hurt. That was like Stephen said. Yeah, they kind of had our hearts beating a little differently today. And I'm watching Oklahoma go down to Kansas State. You can't figure football. They lose to Tulane, but they beat at home, but they beat Oklahoma on the road. That's why I'm so supportive of this 12-team playoff. The idea that we all know which 4 teams are always going to be there, that was maybe 3-4 years ago. We don't know that anymore. It ain't no. These teams are catching up, and the college football is evening out. Especially like the real McCoy said, when you're paying players these days, they get money. This is starting to get even out. So college football is evening out. But yeah, it was great to watch the team. I was really surprised when I heard the announcer say that the touchdown that Bryce threw was the second play of the pass of the year that he threw for more than 20 yards. That was just, astonishing. We definitely have to nail that down. It's great to see us nailing that down in this game. It looked great. Mr. Anderson is still the Terminator. I mean, he went off today. And the running game, like Steve and them said, was improved, and that was good to see. Chase McClellan, maybe he is on a mission to make it his breakout year. So it'd be great to see that. And I agree with Mike McCoy. I think Burton may emerge more so than we think. But hey, the more the merrier, I think. Well, Bryce will spread it around. So with whoever got the hot hand. But yeah, it was a great game on all fronts. Dick Saban was pleased. He was actually smiling at the end of the game. And so it was a complaint. Georgia struggled today. It wasn't a cakewalk as it normally is for them. Had some turnovers. Had some time when they didn't look all that good. They played Kent State. They were almost as bad as the way we played Texas. Even worse, really, because Texas is better than Kent State. So, and the second half of Georgia's season, it's not going to be a cakewalk either. So, all this talk right now, that can change towards the end of the year. They'll have a gauntlet at the end of the season. but we will also. Now the question is, like Stephen M said, taking this on the road. Guys, all right, you got great hands at home. Let's see you have those great hands on the road and Bryce throws those balls to you. That's what we got to see. So, and we'll find out in Arkansas. They're going to be upset over how they lost the game. And it looks like Harson's the U-Haul truck taking him out of town. Is going to have to wait another couple of weeks. He barely managed to survive Missouri, but so the U-Haul truck's going to have to wait a couple of weeks. Like it looks like. But it's a great game over. Yeah,
he has a stay of execution for now.
Yes, he does. All right, guys, roll tide.
Roll tide, brother.
Roll tide.
But I know this is an Alabama show, but the whole Harsin situation is crazy, man. They are ready to get that U-Haul truck loaded up and getting them out of town. And I just think that their overall mindset is so wrong. I mean, the guy's only been there a year, and first he inherited a program that was toxic. You can't expect a coach to come in and right the ship immediately, i.e. Mike Shula. And another thing is, if they fire him immediately, that's another coach they're having to pay a buyout to.
They got the money though, man. That's the problem.
But
that's
why? Throw it away.
Tennessee in the same boat, man. These boys, they still paying Pruitt and Bush Jones. Like, they got the money. Money talks, man.
But you know what?
Money talks.
It does talk, but the thing is, man, they're not going to have much left in the pot. They're constantly paying coaches after they fire him 1 year in.
Well, that's why they play. Well, I ain't gonna say nobody sorry, but that's why they lose it. That's why they lose it. Yeah.
You can say what you want to on this show, man.
But the thing is, man, I think over that program, I haven't heard. Now I got a couple kids that play over there.
Right.
I haven't heard any players rant and rave over him, man. I haven't in the last 6 years of Auburn football. I haven't had any players say they enjoyed their coach, and that's sad to say, man.
No, I understand, and to be quite honest, and I promise folks, we will get back to Alabama talk. When they made the decision to hire him, to me, it was a very underwhelming hire. You're thinking, okay, if you're going to make a hire, it needs to be a big splash, somebody that's going to be able to come in and compete in this battle zone that is the SEC West. But instead, they didn't. They got, an experimental guy from the Mountain West. Didn't really make a whole lot of sense. But
none.
If they really want to compete with, Nick Saban and Kirby Smart and everyone in the SEC, are they willing to relinquish control of their program? That's the thing that's holding Auburn back. If they want that big alpha dog, that big name who's going to be able to take them to that kind of level, are they willing to step back and get the hell away and let the coach coach?
They not, man. It's like an old church, man. Them old folks don't want to see them young cats come in and do nothing. I'm telling you. And that's how you see a community fall. But hey, as long as they suck, we good.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not sitting here complaining. I'm just trying to think of the logistics behind all this. But, whatever they want to do, they can do. Hey, quick shout out to Jamie Wilhelm for the $4.99 super chat. We greatly appreciate your donation, sir. Well, listen, we got another caller. Been waiting a while we've been running our mouths. So let's go ahead and bring them in. Welcome to the show. You are on live, the TDA Post Game Show with Justin Riley and Mike McCoy. If you would, state your name, where you're calling from, and what's your question?
This Jay from Sheffield.
What's up, man? Glad to have you back.
I'm not satisfied, bro.
You said you're not satisfied?
Great win and all, but I'm not satisfied, man. Bill O'Brien's still with these. I don't know what to say. The run game, it looked better, but that whole little stretch run that we run towards the end of the game, we need to see that in the beginning, like, and his play calling, like, I mean, it's 3rd and 2, and you got 2 tight ends in the backfield. I mean, it's so weird, man. The man too NFL for me, man. He too NFL, man. This Bama, man, line your blank up. You see what I'm saying? Line your blank up, and we gonna run the ball. Like we got stopped on a 3rd and 2. Like we happy about the win, but did y'all not see that play? You know what I mean? Like, let me go back. First of all, Roll Tide and Justin, we don't give a blank about what Auburn doing or with their coaches. I hope they go flat broke off the field. I hope they got to go bankrupt. Like I'm talking about broke. But yeah, my bad. I had to address that.
I ain't mad at you.
I need a little sip of what you sipping on, dog.
Hey, if they want to continue to run their program into the crapper, by all means, please do, and continue to let us do our thing.
I want to help them flush it, but you know, man, we got to run that ball better with better play calling, man. Like it's the plays that's being called. Yeah, you can get Jameer Gibbs on the little angle route, but that was like 2nd and 4 or something like that. Like it's. You're on the 15-yard line against Vanderbilt. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You should literally be able to just say, guys, let's line up. We're going to throw these people out from snap 1. First drive of the game. First drive of the game, guys. We went like 5 offensive plays. Like 6 plays. Like we couldn't even put a drive together the first drive of the game against Vanderbilt. You should have just came out and said, let's run the ball 10 straight times. Like we haven't seen a drive like that out of Bill O'Brien when he just wants to run the ball. Or am I tripping?
You're not tripping at all. I agree. I echo that sentiment because before coming into this game, we weren't touching our running backs at all. Against Texas, we had 16 carries total between those 3 backs. 16. And anytime we start to establish anything regarding the run game, it's like Billy O just completely abandons it and continues to force the pass. Yes, the pass worked tonight. It worked tonight. But what if that gets neutralized again and we got to open up that run game and run through some folks? Is Billy O going to be willing to do it?
Arkansas got 3 down lines. They still playing the same weird crap 3-3-5. Run the ball, man. That's it. Like, just run the ball. Anybody that watched the Texas A&M game tonight, they seen it like, oh, okay, dang, well, they ain't doing nothing but pulling the right guard and the right tackle and boom, a little power play to the left. What? But I don't know, man. Roll time, man. I guess I'm complaining too much. But Bill O'Brien sucks. Bill sucks. Roll time.
Oh snap,
man! We really appreciate that, brother. I was Mike. I was wondering, were we going to get that caller or callers that still wasn't satisfied, and we're still kind of upset. And hey, I can't say I'm mad at it. I mean, up to this game, we had a lot of stuff that we shouldn't be satisfied with. Last week, we did put up a lot of points. The scoreboard didn't really show what was on the field. And that second quarter, that was the ugliest quarter I ever saw. I mean, if you take away, if you take away those 2 non-offensive touchdowns, it's 14-7 going into half against ULM. So yeah, there's a lot of fans right now that weren't really happy, but I think we can be happy tonight with what we saw, but is it going to be a thing that we do going forward? Have we established something that we're going to continue with?
If they don't, I mean, I know we're going to beat Arkansas next week. If we don't see this, excuse me, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I think he's a little bit more creative now. Did he show he has a little bit more creative? Now, it wasn't too flashy, but I mean, he threw a screen in there for your boy. He hit him with a little double move a little bit. He aired it out a little bit. So I ain't got too much to complain about. But if they don't, now what I'm interested to see is Coach Saban gonna push the envelope to get him to go to that Nebraska job so he can bring somebody else in. Now I got no Saban the businessman now, and he ain't playing no checkers. He played chess. So I wonder is he gonna let him go in for an interview? Because if he go interview for that job, he gonna get it.
Hey, by all means, let him. We'll pack the truck up and send him on his way, courtesy the Alabama fan base. But yeah, I mean, yeah, he's gonna make a business move, and and everybody keeps giving anyone who questions Nick Saban regarding Bill O'Brien grief. Why does he continue to put up with the same thing over and over again? Look, I get it. He's not Steve Sarkisian. He's not Lane Kiffin. Who is? And yes, we as Alabama fans are spoiled to that. And so we kind of expect that. That's been the standard set by those guys. Bill O'Brien, a totally different guy. I'm not expecting him to be on that same level, but I'm expecting him to be in the yard. I'm expecting his play calling to not be elementary and from Tecmo Bowl.
Well, now we can say the same thing about that defensive coordinator now.
Well, I agree.
I mean, now I feel like Saban, he must like him. There's something about him he like. I don't know. It's like that teacher. You don't know why she got a teacher's pet. There's something they doing. But I'm surprised he's lasting this long because, I mean, your defense is going to be a reflection of you, at the end of the day. So if you soft, they're going to be soft, point blank, period. I mean, that's what it is. And they played strong tonight, but I think this is going to be a national championship team simply because now you have the players running the team. Now, Bill O'Brien's smart. He's going to allow Bryce to make all the calls. Anytime you have a hurry-up offense, the quarterback is now the offensive coordinator because he's making adjustments off what he sees.
Yes.
So if I got a quarterback like a Bryce, that's what I'm doing. Hey, man, you do you going to make me look good. So me letting you do you is going to help me in the long run. So same thing with the defense. When you got guys like Will Anderson, you got Tua more involved. Yeah, I don't think it's not that he can't play. I ain't saying he ain't tough, but I think he's intelligent more than the average linebackers. I mean, the guy is starting for a reason. So I think if you allow guys to make decisions out there and just goddamn play ball, bro, they're gonna be fine.
Yeah, I agree. I think that Henry To'oTo'o has a high football IQ, and that's one of the positives that people have consistently preached about him. It's just having that, but also having that physical dominating style. Breaking through the line.
There.
Right, and that's that's kind of what we need to see. And yeah. I'm trying to be positive, but we've talked about him at nauseum. But so I will go ahead and give him his props tonight, but I need that against Arkansas because next week, one of the strengths of Arkansas is that downhill run game. They will hit you in the mouth, and they got a running back right now that's playing out of his mind.
He ain't no punk.
No, not at all.
Means.
All right, well, we got another call, so let me go ahead and bring this next caller in. I'll remind the callers, unfortunately, you will not be able to hear Mike on the phone. So if you have something to say to Mike, please say it and then just jump off and then jump back on the show so we can answer your questions. But welcome into the show. You're on live with Mike McCoy and Justin Riley for the TDA Post Game Show. If you will, tell us your name, where you're calling from.
It's DPAD 869. I'm calling from Ohio. How y'all doing tonight, man? Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. Any night with a Tide victory, things are looking good. So what are your thoughts on the game? What you got for us?
I can't really complain tonight, man. They played a complete game. The last call, I was just calling. I wasn't even calling. The last caller who called in and complained about running the ball. Look, again, you got the best quarterback in the country. If you got Steph Curry, why are you going to keep feeding the ball down to Draymond Green to try to score on the post? No. You Steph Curry. You shoot threes. We got the best freaking quarterback in the country. Stop it with this run the ball crap. We need to run the ball just well enough to keep the defense honest. And you let Bryce cook. This is 2022. This ain't 2012.
Or 1995.
They played a great game tonight. And they're getting better, and I'm with you. I know I'm normally killing Bill O'Brien, but he did all right tonight. But like you, I need to see more. I need to see more. I need to see it on the road. But as far as tonight goes, great game. Quit complaining. They did well. They played a complete game. It's early. We still building. Take it, enjoy it, and just move on. That's all. That's basically all I got. Great game tonight.
Yes, sir. We appreciate your call, brother. Yeah, I get what you're saying, Mike. I do. And, you know, I'm not trying to get us to dial it back to 1995 where we are running to set up the run and occasionally pass or even run it to the degree of which you experienced back in your day. I just think that we need to be balanced. And, you know, we need to be able to run the ball when it's required, not constantly pass, especially if it's not working. I just want to see balance. And I think a lot of fans can say that's what their ultimate goal is.
Now, I agree. But the last caller got my heart, man. I ain't going to
Go ahead.
lie, brother. He ain't told no lies. You know, I'm a receiver. So we ain't got to run the ball. I would not, man. I would be perfectly fine if we ain't run the ball. But I get the balanced attack, but like Buddy said, man, it's 2022. It's a new era. And you got a quarterback that doesn't show any emotion. That I don't know if anybody has played basketball against a player. I played against Monte Ellis in high school. The man has no facial expressions whatsoever. Gave us a mean 40, didn't even crack a smile, man. That's hard to do. You don't even know when that person's rattled. And when you got Bryce back there throwing it like he's distributing, that's a problem.
Yeah, I agree. And I agree with the previous caller. You know, let the chef cook. Let him do his thing. Absolutely. And by all means, let him be in control of the offense and take the power out of Bill O'Brien.
Please.
Run that tempo. Let him be the quarterback and the offensive coordinator, because that's when Bryce is at his best. And you saw that tonight. There wasn't any Bill O'Brien. There was Bryce Young, Heisman Trophy winning quarterback. And we saw a complete difference. And that's something we need to have going forward. I don't know if the reason why we weren't doing the tempo was because the level of comfort with offensive line wasn't there, or were we just trying to be a vanilla to kind of do just enough to get through to the bigger name opponents, which if that's the case, I don't necessarily agree with, because that can either get you beat and sometimes hurt. But
that's Bryce. A lie. Whoever said that shit a lie. Texas is a big opponent. Now, I don't care.
I agree with that. But people are, that's been the argument. A lot of these people are Walmart fans who doesn't necessarily understand the game of football, and logic always does not come into play. So go ahead.
No, I'm with you, man. That's a crock of bull, man. We just holding it, man. If you a card player, bro, you gonna let them know what I got in my hand. Like I'm here. I ain't finna show my whole hand, but I'm here. So people, man, I'm telling you, Coach Saban ain't even like that. He has we killing ants with sledgehammer mentality. So y'all can get out of here with that. He would be perfectly fine. We score 64 points. They score 0. We don't play to the level of them. We always play up. We never play down. So, and he preaches excellence. He used to always say, you know, because we had some Poochie's offense coordinators too when I was there. I ain't gonna go into no names, but
I'll name him if you text me.
If he used to always make a point that if everybody does their job, you execute. Doesn't matter if the defense knows what you're running. You do your job and you get 2 yards off of that play. That is a positive play. That's the mentality he got. So you think he gonna hold back when he know he got some dogs out there? No.
Tell you what, why don't y'all ask him that in the press conference and let me record what his response is, please. I do love those people most of all. But
Oh yeah.
Let's go ahead and pick up another call. Looks like they're calling straight from Mobile. And hey, welcome to the show. You're on live with Justin Riley and Mike McCoy following a route of Vanderbilt. Tell us who you are and where you're calling from and what you got on your mind. Hello, caller. It's just dial-up internet, man. We got the America Online. I need TDA to get off of dial-up or Cricket Wireless, whatever one they're using, because we are having a hard time getting this caller on.
Boost Mobile.
Boost Mobile. Maybe we'll get a sponsor out of that. Who knows? But
hit me on my next tail chirp. Yeah, old school.
That's it.
Old school. Oh, they ain't called back yet.
It's just spinning. So let me, caller, if you can hear me, please hang up and try again. We'll get you on, I promise. Let's see. Well, it's just a spinning. But listen, while we wait for technology to advance real quick, let's see. What are some takeaways you have from this game? And if you're in that locker room right now, what are you saying to your position group and really the rest of the team right now?
Oh, I'm gonna tell you right now, them boy partying. If y'all was if y'all were looking for a serious answer, y'all can hang it up. No, them boys out there partying. If it's me in the receiver room, we getting ready to go to a Delta or AKA party, man. We up and have a good time. But
you going to the Citizens Club?
But we finna get live. But I think what needs to carry on, man. I think they built their momentum. I think the trust is there. All it takes is a game. All it takes is one game to define a team or break a team. And for a team like this, man, like I said, when you got the players that are leading the organization now, where they are calling the team meetings and they are taking charge of the offense and defense, it's hard to kind of lose with that. And it's hard to argue with the person on your right and left in their huddle when they doing their job. So if you slacking, you know what I'm saying, you get called out on it. Because Coach Saban started to tell us, you only get one my bad. That's it. You get one my bad. After that, next.
I'm with you on that. And while we kind of wait on some things, listen, we usually kind of wait to the end for this, but I try to introduce a new segment. I don't know if Brandon did this past week, but it's Mike McCoy's Lapdogs and Pit Bulls. Do you have anybody that's considered lapdog this week? If so, go ahead and name what you've seen.
I didn't have any lapdogs this week, except for the muff punt. I was like, not muff punt, the fumble, Kool-Aid on that. Come on.
Oh yeah.
But you know what? This is what I told my wife. This is I know he is going to be a player. He going to be a punk. He got up. He didn't act like he was injured. You know, somebody get blown up on a pass or something, act like they hurt or they drop a pass. Oh, it's my hamstring. No. The fact that he got up and lined back up at DB, I said, oh, yeah, he has amnesia. You need a player like that. So he earned my respect on that. But all my top dogs, I get that to the offense and defense, bro. I mean, they played a complete game, bro.
Gotcha.
You got straight pit bulls on both sides of the ball this week. No lapdogs. And I'm going to get on Kobe. He had one that passed on the sideline.
I was wondering if he could
some words, but I was glad that they went back to him. That means that you have a offense or a quarterback that loves you enough to give you a shot, or offensive coordinator that, hey, we got to feed this guy. It ain't back today or you look somewhere else. No, man, I'm proud of those. I'm happy, man. So, Pit bulls for everybody tonight.
Pit bulls for everybody. I'd have to echo the same sentiment. For me, my pit bull offensively, the entire wide receiver group.
Yes.
Balled out tonight. They established themselves. They reminded us of why they're there.
Yes.
And I think that it's only going to get better from here. We got an alpha dog in Jacory Brooks. Really like what he's shown up to this point. And I think that's going to carry over into this next week. Because like I said, our opponent has one of the worst secondaries in the nation. We need to exploit that to a T and let Bryce Young take control immediately. Shout out to Bryce Young, another pit bull. Defense as a whole, I know it's basic, but you got to give it to everybody on that defense because they did their thing. Mr. Anderson leading the way. The Terminator, that's his name for a reason. And he has shown us why he has earned the accolade of being the next Derek Thomas.
How many offensive yards did they have?
Let me look that up. I can pull that up on ESPN.
It couldn't have been many because I'm talking about these boys played lights out.
I would venture to say, as far as rushing yards, I don't think they may have had any. But as I pull up the stats now, because any kind of positive gain that they had in the running game was quickly negated because of sacks. Total yards, oh Lord. Vanderbilt, total yards 129.
God, dog.
To Alabama, 628.
Boy, y'all should have stayed home, man. God, dog. Boy, y'all got. Ooh.
I'm telling you, man. It's like being in a toxic relationship. You know you need to leave, but you keep showing back up to it.
Yes. Yeah, leave. They got
here's another thing. 1 of 13 on converting third downs.
Yeah, that's different. I don't know.
All right. Well, listen. That's what we need next week too. So, well, guys, I think it's time for us to close up shop. And there's not really much to say, beyond what we've already talked about. I mean, we won 55-3. You did everything about as well as you could do it. So let's go ahead and start getting ready for Arkansas. But until then, roll tide. And thanks again to everyone in the chat. Thank you for the donation from Jamie Wilhelm. And thank you to the callers. We will see you next week.
Peace. Be blessed.
Yes, sir.